saying Scotland won't get to keep the pound, just remember this: no country can be prevented from using the pound. The pound is, in economic jargon, what's called an internationally traded currency. In everybody else's language, that means any country in the world can choose to use the pound, and there's nothing that George Osborne or his mates can do about it. When Ireland became independent from Britain, it used the pound for a fair while until Ireland had its own currency, and then subsequently, of course, Ireland went into the euro. When Australia became independent from Britain, it used, guess what, the pound until it had its own currency. So no country can be prevented from using the pound. And it is, remember, our pound as much as it is the pound of any other part of the UK. Our proposal, of course, is to use it within a formal monetary union. And I want to just give you 3 reasons why continuing to share a currency with Scotland is in the best interests of the rest of the UK, which means that no matter what Westminster says now, after there is a yes vote, if there is a yes vote, they will take a very, very different attitude. Reason number 1 is, if the rest of the UK wasn't sharing a currency with Scotland, English businesses who trade with Scotland would face additional charges every year to change currency as they trade with Scotland of, at a very conservative estimate, £500 million every year. Now, can you imagine a Chancellor turning round to his own businesses and saying, I'm going to slap a £500 million tax on you? You know, Scotland wants to stay in the same currency, you want to stay in the same currency, but regardless of all of that, I'm going to make you pay £500 million a year to change money to trade with Scotland. I don't think they'd get very far in that argument. Secondly, if we had a formal currency union with the rest of the UK, our exports, and we export a lot every year, you know, the goods we export a year amount to about £100 billion every year. Now, if we're in a currency union, the value of those exports still counts towards the UK's balance of payments. You've heard the term balance of payments, the difference between what a country exports and imports. If the value of our exports don't get included in the UK's balance of payments, the rest of the UK's trade deficit goes through the roof. And that is one of the things that impacts on the value of a country's currency. So you'd see the value of the pound potentially fall. And what Chancellor is going to go around the country, just as he's asking people to re-elect him in a general election, with the value of sterling falling because of some irrational decision that he's taken. And thirdly, if Scotland, and I don't think this will happen, was to be denied our fair share of assets, and here we're talking about the asset that is the Bank of England, that would be what we're looking to share in a currency union, then presumably we're not going to take a share of the liabilities either. The UK has got a massive debt right now. £1.5 trillion worth of debt. That's right, £1.5 trillion. These are the people that say they know how to run the economy. They've run up £1.5 trillion worth of debt.
What will our share be?
You can ask me a question in a second, sir.
Yeah, what will our share be?
Well, I will answer that directly. Okay?
Yeah, okay, what will our share be?
So, excuse me, I've asked.
Hold
Hold on a minute.
Before I finish, I will
I've
answer
asked
the
for people to
It's
listen
all right.
to
I understand.
It's all right.
Yeah, why not have a bit of headline?
£1.5 trillion worth of debt that the Treasury is legally liable for. I think we should take a fair share, but presumably we only take that fair share if we get a fair share of assets. So these are the reasons why, notwithstanding what you're hearing now, my prediction is, if there is a yes vote, then we'll have Westminster politicians queuing up, wanting Scotland to be in a currency union. So you're all intelligent people. You can listen to the arguments, you can listen to what I say, you can listen to what the other side say, and then come to a judgment on what you think is the most reasonable. In terms of the gentleman's question, I'm not sure if he's still here, but on Scotland's share of the debt, we'd roughly have a share of that debt that was about £120 billion. Now, it might be slightly more than that, slightly less than that, depending on the basis it was calculated. But whatever rational basis of calculation you have, per capita share based on the number of people living in Scotland, a historic share, based on our contribution to the UK over a period of time, or, we can't get some assets, so we get a cash contribution for our share of the French embassy or something that would reduce our share of the debt. But on any rational calculation, our share of the debt would leave an independent Scotland with a debt that was a smaller proportion of our overall economy than the UK's is of it. And that's how you measure whether debt is sustainable. So, remember, we're paying already for the UK's debt. An independent Scotland share would actually be a smaller proportion of our economy. So, sorry I took a long time to answer that, but I think it's important on currency